the big reason why they do this is because most GMs are not very secure in their role. And they know that if they draft the guy in the first round, especially top 20, who has an injury history, and then he gets injured, they're done. They're fired.
We got Ross Tucker coming up now, host of the Ross Tucker podcast. He joins us right here. Now you can follow him on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. Ross, welcome to the program, man. How you doing on this Tuesday morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Zander, John, great to see you guys. Great to talk with you. Really appreciate you guys having me.
Ross, great stuff, man. I want to start with your future fans. This is great, Ross. We got a lot of great people here who listen to this program, and I'm sure how have little ones, young kids that they want to get into football. Tell us a little bit about future fans, Ross, and how our listeners can get involved.
Well, I think anybody that watches me do the Eagles games on preseason or listens to me on the radio knows how much I love the sport. I think it's amazing. And I don't know if you guys have dealt with this, John, if you've dealt with this. It's actually really hard to get little kids to sit and watch the Eagles games with me.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like I remember back in the day, I couldn't wait after church to get home to sit on the couch and watch a game with my dad and have him flip out about Buddy Ryan or Izell Jenkins. I mean, I could go on and on. I think my dad took out all of his life's frustrations on the TV every Sunday at 1. It's not like that. Like even my daughters, they want to be on their iPads. They want to be doing something else. So thank goodness I met these guys from futurefans.com that kind of cracked the code on how to get little kids to know, understand, and love football. It's a storybook-led activity about what do little kids like, right? They like books. They like activities, okay? They combine the two. The kids understand, okay, they do a ring toss game. That's how the downs work. I've invested in the business, right? Which is why I'm telling you guys about it. I talked to at least 10 people who said it really worked and their kids used it and now they watch the games. I'm like, well, that's good enough for me because all my buddies are going through the same thing. We all have kids that won't sit there and watch the whole game with us like we did with our dad. So I think it's like $60. If you go to futurefans.com, pretty sure you can get a 20% discount. So $50. It's like you're giving a gift to your kid, but the truth is you're really giving the gift to yourself. And it's the gift that keeps on giving if they'll actually sit there and watch the Eagles especially when the Eagles are this good.
Right,
we sat there and watched them every week when the Eagles weren't good and weren't winning playoff games.
Yeah,
now
you're bringing up Izell. Poor Izell. I thought you were going to go toast on me. I don't want to pick on Izell, though.
Oh, my gosh. That's my dad. He loved that toast. And that's back in the day, John, when, we all loved how much Buddy Ryan would blitz. But then when his corners would get beaten man-to-man coverage, we would blame them. It's like, now we know better. Like cover zero. Like, of course they're going to lose. They're going to get beat. So anyway, futurefans.com. That's where it's at. Check it out. I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Well, Ross, if you crack that code, man, you got something because you already got too many jobs. Westwood won. You're doing the Eagles all over the place. CBS. You're gonna get that TV money because if you can convince the younger generation to sit down and watch football, you have cracked the code, my friend. Because
Zander, how old are you?
27.
Okay, what's it like for the kids your age?
I think good. I don't think
the guys your age. Is everybody like
is
totally
it more red zone? Is it red zone?
See, I hate red zone. I've never been a red zone guy. I like to watch a football game from start to finish. That's how I like to watch. But I'm sure red zone is big. I'm not a better or fantasy player, Ross, so I think I'm a little different than most dudes my age, but still pretty good.
Most dudes your age are really into betting, is my understanding.
Yeah.
And I think the younger people think that they just can watch the highlights afterwards.
Exactly. Like, it's all social media.
Just see the highlights and see what was the eventful plays. Why do I need to watch all the plays in between?
Yeah, that's a problem. And that's
can you imagine if they've been watching the last couple of Eagles games?
Wow.
Like what if they just watched the first half of the Rams game or the second half of the Bucks game?
Best team ever. Best team ever.
Zero highlights.
Yeah.
There's never a dull moment with this team, Ross. So I guess we got it. I want to talk offensive line because Jordan Mailata said, and obviously you're a former offensive lineman, so I want to get that expertise. But we got to talk AJ before we get to that. Now, you're talking about age and generation. I mean, AJ, great dude, great teammate, captain. He's been this way. After the game, he's very, he's frustrated. I get that, and he's very apologetic, and he says, not the time to talk. And then he quotes the Bible verse, which is basically recede, and he did the exact opposite. 4 million people saw that tweet or X post now, Ross Tucker. So AJ's very media savvy. How did you take that whole thing? What is AJ trying to say? What is he trying to get across?
Man, there's a lot I could say here.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm very confused because his post was, if you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw, don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way. He did the exact opposite.
Exactly.
But by posting that, he made a scene, which I'm not really a big fan of. The other thing is, if he's not listened to, what would he be listened to? I mean, it would be getting the ball more. He got 9 targets. I mean, they threw him the ball a lot. Now, Hurts was off on several targets in the second half, and he didn't have a productive day. I guess I would feel a lot differently about this if he wasn't getting the ball at all. I don't know. I never played receiver. It's a very dependent position. I understand that. I would just say this is certainly not my style in life. I would be much more direct with whoever I need to be or feel like I need to be direct with. I don't really not a big fan of the social media posts, but maybe I'm just the old guy now screaming it off my lawn. I'm probably 20 years older than AJ, right? He's probably 26 years old. So maybe I'm just out of the loop, and this is the thing that you're supposed to do now. I feel like it'd be a lot more productive if you said, hey, Jalen, you got to throw that ball earlier and on time, or can I get some more?
Which I think, by the way, Ross,
looking for.
Yeah, I think is the issue.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Is he right, though, Ross, about the offense? I mean, you just brought it up a second ago. If you watched the first half last week or the second half this week, it didn't look too pretty. All these inconsistencies on the offense, running game's not working as good as it did last year, and your defense was basically historic last year. Do you think there's any truth to him bringing light to problems on the Eagles' offense right now? I know they sit at 4-0, so it's a tough hill to climb.
Well, who knows what he's saying? That's the other thing I don't care for when it's like a vague social media post. Is this about him getting the ball more? Is this about poor throws to him? Is this about suggestions he's made that they haven't listened to? Is this about the offense's inconsistency? I mean, what I would tell you is welcome to the NFL. I mean, a lot of teams' offenses are consistently bad. At least the Eagles have inconsistent moments where they're good. The second half against the Rams, the first half against the Bucks. A lot of teams are just bad. They just can't do anything on offense. So last year they were 2-2, and they had major issues. This year they're 4-0, and the major issue right now is that, they haven't put a full game together on offense. Special teams have been pretty darn good. Defense has been pretty darn good. I would say that overall that's a win.
Ross, I wanted to bring this up, and I want to tap into not only your offensive line expertise, but also you see other teams. You're doing games for Westwood One, so you get to see other teams. I think this is a problem, a league-wide problem, and that's quarterbacks getting out of the huddle late and not being at the line of scrimmage and being able to have enough time to either kill a play, can a play, whatever, and jockey back and forth into, getting a play into a better look. Jordan Mailata brought that thing up, same thing up on his show, and he said, well, look, we have to get up to the line of scrimmage earlier. We have to get out of the huddle. We have to get out with some time to make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage. Have you noticed that when you're looking at other teams? Because especially with younger quarterbacks, Ross, I see these coordinators or head coaches who call plays. They want to be so. They don't want to. They want them on a leash. They want to give them any autonomy whatsoever, and I think that's hurting offensive play around the league. You agree with me or disagree?
Well, it's interesting because I'm coming off doing the Texans and the Titans on Sunday for CBS, and both of those teams went a lot of up tempo. They went on the ball a decent amount. And in fact, one of the things the Titans wanted to do with their new play caller is get Cam Ward on the ball so that he could talk to him, up until 15 seconds
15
left on
seconds,
the
yeah.
play clock.
O'Connell does that.
Yeah. And be able to talk to them when they're up on the ball and they've kind of seen what the defense is going to do. I can't really speak to what Jordan's saying. I don't know if Jordan's just coming up with that from his observation or if that's something that they've talked about on an offense. But if that is an issue, I'm pretty confident that the Eagles will correct it because it's a very correctable issue. And maybe there is something to that. Maybe Kevin Patullo is a beat slower to get the play call in than Kellen Moore was. Perhaps, because of his inexperience, maybe they're not getting it in quite as early. And so they're not getting the line of scrimmage as early as they want to. I really, we'll find out a lot about that on Sunday against Denver, who has a very good defense and they do a lot of different things. So it would be really nice for them if they were able to get up on the ball and be able to change the plays if it is desired.
Ross, what are you seeing on the offensive line play? They're not able to run the ball so far early in the year like they were last year. Obviously, a historic season for Saquon last year, but down at 3.1 yards per carry. I know Landon's dealing with some injuries. Cam Jurgens doesn't quite look the same to me. What are you seeing on the offensive line so far to start the season?
Well, I don't think that they're playing quite as well on the O-line as they did last year. I also think teams are playing them a little bit differently, when it comes to Saquon, in part, not always loading the box because they don't want him to break those big ones. So when he has broken them, it's been like 7 or 8 as opposed to 78 because they have those 2 deep safeties that are coming down late as opposed to being in the front.
Right.
And I think that there have been some issues with the other guys blocking, with the receivers, with, Calcaterra, the tight ends. We always want to put it all on the offensive line. But I think a lot of times in general, if the guy's getting hit in the backfield, it's either a bad play or, a bad play call that they should have tried to get out of, a really good play call by the defensive coordinator for the other team, or, the offensive line screwed up. But when they're getting 5 yards instead of going the explosive runs, that's usually more the receivers blocking downfield to dig out the safety or the tight end, which is something else that people need to keep in mind.
Last one for me at Ross Tucker NFL. I know you got to run, Ross. Make sure you listen to the podcast at Ross Tucker Pod. Does a tremendous job there. CBS Sports, Westwood One. You can hear Ross all over the place. My favorite food critic, by the way. Well, go back and forth between Jimmy Kempski. Want to give Jimmy some love as well, but we have the 2 best NFL food critics around Philadelphia as well. But
Texans are unbelievable, by the way. Texans might be number 1.
Texans are unbelievable. Well, Ross, Dallas is done. You got to give Jerry credit for some. Dallas, nobody touches Dallas. But
I don't know. I've been there for Thanksgiving, which I don't know if Thanksgiving is like souped up or not,
No, it isn't. That's crazy.
Right.
It isn't. He does that all the time. It's unbelievable. But I digress. Defensively, look, why does the NFL let a player like Jahad Campbell fall to the Philadelphia Eagles at number 31? All because they're concerned that maybe, Ross, he's not going to be there week 1. Who cares? Let's pretend he was injured. Let's pretend the labrum and he was on PUP to start the year and he didn't start till week 5 or week 6 or whatever. When you have
it's not that. It's the track record and the history. And there's some people that think the other shoulder might need surgery, is what I had heard. and it's more that the guy, theoretically might not last long or is susceptible to getting injured again. I don't think it was that he might not be there at the start of the year. The big thing, though, is we see this all the time. I mean, Cooper DeJean, Landon Dickerson, even look at the Chiefs and what they got from Josh Simmons, the left tackle. The big reason why they do this is because most GMs are not very secure in their role, and they know that if they draft a guy in the first round, especially top 20, who has an injury history, and then he gets injured, they're done. They're fired. Whereas Veach in Kansas City or Howie Roseman know it's a calculated risk. They've built up enough equity with their ownership. They explain the calculated risk. The ownership signs off on it, and they get the value of being willing to take calculated risks like that, quite frankly, less secure GMs are just not willing to do.
Yep, good stuff. Go to futurefans.com, everybody, to get your kids up to date on sports. Ross, we appreciate you joining in today. Make sure you guys follow Ross at Ross Tucker NFL. Also subscribe to his YouTube channel. I've been watching you over there, Ross. Great stuff. As always, Ross, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining in today.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.